Moving on, let's now examine the security industry and the challenges that companies face in an increasingly polarized world. According to the World Security Report by G4S and Allied Universal, more than a quarter of global companies reported a drop in revenue after an internal or external security incident in 2024. On an average, each company lost at least $9 million. This is based on a survey with 2,352 chief security officers from 31 nations. It noted that a significant security incident could reduce the value of a publicly listed company by an average of 32%. Turning to India, the survey revealed worrying trends. 71% of security chiefs in India reported that the threat of violence towards senior executives has increased over the past 2 years. Even more alarming is the physical security risk posed by activist groups. 93% of respondents identified this as a threat to corporate facilities and executives, compared with the 77% global average, making India one of the highest risk countries in this dimension. Furthermore, 76% of chief security officers in India plan to increase their physical security budgets over the next year, significantly more than the global average. At the same time, 90% of respondents believe that geopolitical tension will compromise supply chain security. To understand the impact on such breaches on businesses, we speak with Rajeev Sharma of G4S, a 120-year-old leading global security firm with deep roots in Denmark, Sweden and the UK. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Sharma. Can you tell us what kind of threats are being faced by companies and executives in a majority of cases?
Thank you very much. I'll give you a little brief and background about the World Security Report 2025, which is what is being released by us. Now, this World Security Report is not something which is published by G4S. This is basically a compilation of the survey which was conducted amongst more than 2,000 CSOs across 34 markets globally. And in India, we had more than 50 plus responses from the CSOs on the perceived threats and the risk that they see while they're discharging the responsibilities of keeping their management and the establishment secured. As compared to 2023, when we came out with the first report, 71% of the CSOs in India believe that the risks have increased as compared to 2023, with reference to the leadership team, the CEOs, the promoter families. And the reason why they believe so is because of late we have been seeing a lot of unrest movements, labor movements happening in the markets because of people who basically are not properly, I would say, aligned or have reasons, not to align with the local management and the management policies. And also, there is a risk with reference to some of the internal stakeholders talking about misinformation, talking about disinformation, using all kinds of social media tools to malign and, damage the reputation of the senior leadership, the CEOs and the CXOs of the organization. Having said that, I think it's also got to do with the theft, which is the data theft, also got to do with the physical thefts, which somewhere directly or indirectly impacts the organization and puts the CEOs at risk, because anything which is proprietary, it impacts.
Mr. Sharma, I'd also like to ask you about misinformation and disinformation threats. Where is this misinformation campaign largely originating from? Is it from domestic sources, or is it from external sources and from outside the country? What have you realized through your survey and by speaking to your clients?
So, in fact, this is more got to do with the internal stakeholders. And we have noticed, after speaking to our CSOs and the stakeholders across different markets and different industries in India, that many employees who basically have grievances, many employees who are unhappy with possibly the policies and the way the organizations function, they have a tendency to start representing the organizations in an ill manner. And today, the social media is so strong. So anything that you put on social media gets viral. So this is a serious concern and a threat which possibly is being seen from the internal stakeholders.
Right. Now, in terms of revenue loss because of the security threats and disruptions, could you give us a sense of the kind or quantum of loss to Indian companies as a result of security threats? This may be cyber threat, this may be misinformation, or some physical harm to company property or top executives.
So it's very difficult for me to quantify the absolute value of loss, but however, I can quantify this in terms of the value of the organization, because that's how the companies are looked at. And in largely the companies which are in the public domain, which are listed, our understanding is through the feedback that we have got, almost 30% of the value of the organization is basically linked to the management and linked to the CEO. And anything going wrong with the CEO, any kind of mishappening with the CEO possibly can erode the value of the organization by almost about 30%. Hence, the CSOs take extra precaution to ensure that the board, the promoters, the families, the CEOs, and anybody who is responsible for running the organization, they are always secured.
Right. Do you feel there are certain sectors which are more vulnerable to direct physical threats against top executives?
I have seen this, and I would say that this is more likely to happen in the manufacturing sector, because we have seen the manufacturing sector is largely governed by the Industrial Dispute Act, and we have a lot of labor which is involved in running the manufacturing units. So we have seen this in the past also, and we also see it currently with some of our clients, where they see some labor unrest leading to these kind of mobs, trying to come closer to the senior leadership and the management.
Right. Now, when it comes to deploying artificial intelligence and AI tools to enhance surveillance, to increase security measures, what kind of AI tools are being deployed? How much are companies spending on such AI solutions?
So AI is something which is evolving, and I think a lot of security equipments are now coming along with AI. And especially what I can say is, with the survey and the feedback that we have, most of the CSOs are looking at, the intrusion detection systems and perimeter security as one of the key areas where they want to deploy AI, because that's the first layer of security. That's the first line of security where, they want the AI to work. And also, historically, the physical security has been more reactive in nature. So, and today, I think the need of the hour is basically if you have the ability to be predictive and ability to have predictive analysis so that you can prevent things from happening. I think that's what AI helps and brings on the table. So these companies that we work with have kept a significant amount of budget aside for implementing the AI-enabled technologies along with physical security, which basically is as important as AI-based technology.
Right. Are you seeing threats from actors outside the country as well? In how many cases where you possibly investigated security threats or breaches or disruptions, did the threat or attack originate from outside the country? How common is it becoming for companies to face such threats?
No, so not to my knowledge, except of the cyber attacks which may happen from outside. But in terms of the physical attacks, I haven't come across any such, attacks happening to any of our clients. Even in the cyber space, I think people have a tremendous amount of secured layers in their IT setups, wherein they are able now to mitigate any kind of cyber attacks as well. So not come across anyone who has claimed that, they have had a major cyber attacks from an external environment or any kind of a physical disruption.
Mr. Sharma, do you expect spends by companies on security to go up? Because your report says 97% of global institutional investors say they will be looking out for companies which are spending on increasing the security for their executives, for their intellectual property as well.
Yes, definitely. So there are two kinds of spends which possibly will increase over the period of time. One is, as the organizations grow, they establish more and more establishments and facilities in the market. They need physical security. And also, since they're investing heavily on ensuring and protecting the CEOs, the leadership, and the promoter and their families, so the spend is increasing. And since the investors, they look at what kind of secured environment the management is given in any organization, and then gives them that confidence that management is secured, and they invest on the management instead of investing in an organization when they really look at which company to invest in. And that gives them additional comfort when they see the security spends are increasing. when they see that the company is taking a lot of initiative in securing not only themselves, their leadership, assets, the entire business. So that gives them that much more comfort to invest in those organizations.
All right. Thank you, Mr.